Welcome back to Backward Point Podcast. My name is Nazar. Ah, ooh. See, you would typically give an Oscar for that sort of acting, but in this scenario, I think the best this deserves is a Lux Style Award for Best Actor in a Supporting Role. And nominated with me is Gulbudi Naib. I learned this from watching the cricket today. I don't know if you guys noticed, but what cinema they had on display at the Afghanistan versus Bangladesh game. It was just outclassed, and I just had to replicate it just to make sure that our fans knew exactly what we were feeling when that was going on. Afghanistan versus Bangladesh game just wrapped up, full of surprises, full of fun, full of entertainment, and full of emotions. Afghanistan has pulled their weight through and defeated Bangladesh, defeated Australia, and have made a spot in the semifinal. They will be playing South Africa on Wednesday. What a day to host a Backward Point podcast. Honestly, it's an honor and a privilege to be sitting here and talking about this momentous occasion. I think this is not only great for Afghanistan cricket fans, but just fans of cricket itself. The past 45 minutes to an hour have just been amazing. I just saw Osman Samiuddin tweet that there was a tear left in his eye at the end of the game, and I echo his sentiments. The way that I rejoiced at that final wicket, it was nothing short of miraculous, and everything that I've sort of all the feelings that have been devoid in my soul because of the recent performance of my cricket team that I support, it's all been washed out. Moments like this, they just unite everybody, and I love it. I know I just been on a little bit of a ramble here, but these raw emotions have to come out as well, and I feel like this Afghanistan team has really sparked something in a lot of the cricket fans that may have been dead for a while. And I want to thank Afghanistan cricket team for doing that for me.
Currently, the time here is 1:30 a.m. and the game just finished a few minutes ago. So we've just come off watching the last game of the Super 8s. Also, perhaps the best game of this World Cup, considering what was at stake. There was a moment where Afghanistan and Bangladesh were fighting for a spot in the semifinals. And I think now we can conclude that Pakistan is probably the third best Asian team from Asia in this World Cup.
At least in this World Cup, yes. And I don't think we've introduced ourselves. There's going to be a lot of new, maybe Afghan fans coming through. My name is Nazar Sayed. If you're new here, and with me as always is my brother and co-host Bashar Sayed. We're discussing Afghanistan versus Bangladesh, a momentous occasion in the world of cricket. We're also going to be discussing Australia versus India as well, because that's also a very important part of this trajectory of this World Cup. 4 teams are left on the board. They are India, Afghanistan, England, and South Africa. Not particularly in that order, but that's the 4 teams that are left. Let's get back to the game that just wrapped up. Afghanistan, like lazy batting and just snailed their way across to 115 for 5, 19 runs near the end by our boy Rashid Khan there that sort of inched them over to that respectable total, not even if you want to call it. And Afghanistan only made 105. Sorry, my wife's calling. Afghanistan only made 105, and they were bowled out. Clinical by Afghanistan here. Bangladesh made 105. They were bowled out, and 4 wickets by Naveen, 4 wickets by the captain Rashid Khan, including the 19 that he scored from the top. I don't know what to say about this performance. This is as clinical as it gets.
They scored 148 against Australia on this same ground. And I think when they were coming on to bat here, they realized this is not an easy pitch. It's a tricky pitch. The ball is staying low. There's rain coming in and out. There's showers coming in. And that's when I think they realize a target of 120, 130 could be competitive if they bowl well and if they rely on Bangladesh choking, as they have a vast history of doing so. There was a point towards, I think, the last 10 overs where I think Afghanistan wanted to get 160, and that just was not on the cards. So even if they got 115, thanks to that cameo from Rashid Khan in the end, he scored 19 off 10 balls, 3 sixes. And the funniest part of that innings from Rashid was when he was running with Kareem Jannat.
Oh my God.
In the last or second last over, he hits a ball and he was trying to go for 2 runs to take strike back. And Kareem Jannat says, no, I'm not for it. And Rashid Khan is like halfway through his second run, and he sees Kareem Jannat say no to him, and he literally screams at him and throws his bat at Kareem Jannat. Almost reminds
While
me of
cursing him all the way back.
almost reminds me of when Sohail Khan threw a ball at Yasir Shah in the PSL.
Yo, that was a lot more dangerous. If that hit him, it was done. Yasir was done. His career already as short as it was, unfortunately for Pakistan cricket fans, that would have been fatal at that point. There was another moment I read on Twitter. It was Misbah ul Haq and
Umar Akmal?
Umar Akmal.
Yes.
Where Umar Akmal denied him a run and Misbah says, "Lanat tere."
Cursing him. Cursing him as he should have.
This game was so just full of like Marvel Easter eggs that I totally forgot that also happened. I have to go watch this highlight like 3 or 4 times because this is genuinely, guys, raw emotions. We came from the TV lounge straight into the studio here to record this because we wanted to make sure that we capture what we were feeling and bottle it up.
Towards the end, man, who was cutting onions? A grown man like me, grown men on TV who play cricket for a living, a strong sport that's supposed to make you a gentleman.
Yeah.
There were men in tears.
It wasn't just that. It was what I felt, the weight of the victory for the Afghan players. What I felt was just the history that they've gone through. Muhammad Nabi, he has seen this team in Division 5 cricket all the way into a semi-final spot. They knocked out New Zealand. They knocked out Australia. They knocked out Bangladesh. And now they're on the cusp of playing a semi-final, which they might, South Africa, the way they've been playing, they haven't lost a single game, but 6 out of the 7 games that they've played were thrillers, last over finishers or second last over finishers. And they're sort of edging it towards the line. And who knows? Maybe this is the moment where they make it through into the finals. You don't know. All I'm saying is that whatever the Afghan people have gone through in the past 15, 20 years, geographically, politically, I don't know if Pakistan has been really good neighbors to them either. There's a whole debate. Don't want to get into that. But these people have gone through a lot. That region has gone through a lot in the past 20 years. And to see them succeed in this one thing that they've been passionate about, that they've been working extra hard on, they're not allowed to play cricket in their own country. They can't do that. There have been countries moral policing them in the world of cricket. One of them that they knocked out. They've gone through so much turmoil that seeing them get over the line right now, it's beautiful. It almost reminds me of, and this is going to be the most Pakistani thing I ever say, is that in 2017 when Pakistan won the Champions Trophy against India in the finals, they were in a very similar position. They were isolated in the world. International cricket had not come back to Pakistan. The PSLs were being played in UAE. It was a very tough time for Pakistan cricket. And to see them prosper in that way, those are the same feelings that I don't know I had bottled up in me for so long that came out tonight when Afghanistan sealed the deal. Like I screamed when Naveen ul Haq had Mustafizur Rahman plumb LBW, and before the finger came up from the umpire, I was elated. And that was the same feeling with you, Richard. Tell me what this means to you as a cricket fan, as a Afghanistan cricket fan, as someone who's been following Afghanistan cricket for such a long time. What does it mean to you?
Like you mentioned, it's a country where they have minimal to no infrastructure. Their cricket board has limited amount of funds. So for these players to sort of pave their own way to make it to this stage, and another important thing, by Afghanistan winning, they automatically disqualify Australia. And Australia recently denied playing with Afghanistan in bilaterals. So how do you expect a team like Afghanistan to get better when Australia and other teams, they aren't touring Afghanistan, so their home ground is the UAE, or for tests, India has offered them a home ground.
And one of the series they played in Sri Lanka, last year against Pakistan.
So that's just where these players are coming from. But their passion that's been on display the past couple of games, that's been commendable. And I think under Rashid's leadership and Jonathan Trott's captain's coaching, they seem like they're gonna head towards places. Rashid Khan got 150 T20I wickets. Perhaps we can say he is the best T20 player in the world right now, and one of the best in recent times of T20 cricket history. So they're in a really sweet spot where they have some young players, some experienced guys like Nabi in the team. But going forward in the semis, it's against South Africa. It's about who chokes first. None of these teams have played a final ever in their life. So we're going to have a new finalist in this World Cup. And I can't wait to see that match. It's 8:30 p.m. for us on Wednesday. And I'll be tuned in, eyes glued to the TV, waiting to see who qualifies for the finals.
What was your favorite moment of the game?
My favorite moment has to be the last 3 overs.
Yes, in continuity.
There's rain happening, there's wickets falling, there's singles and doubles happening, and there's messages being thrown out from the dugouts. Just a complete roller coaster. You never knew who was ahead of the game because at some moments at DLS, Afghanistan was ahead, and then a wicket fell, so Bangladesh was ahead. Like it was just everything was happening. This was a complete match.
This is the encapsulation of how topsy-turvy this entire game was. Taskeen Ahmed, right before he got bowled by Naveen Haq, the DLS par score was, I believe, 104, and they were at 105. And so they were already 1 run ahead. So if and it started drizzling. Naveen comes into bowl, the ball stays low, inside edge, bowled. Suddenly, the DLS par score is now 108, and now now Afghanistan is over the par score. So if it rains out, they win. But it doesn't rain out. Mustafizur comes out, and there's all that drama going on. What's going to happen? Is he just going to see the ball off? Beautiful in-dipper by Naveen Haq. Bounces on right outside of off stump, follows through, hits middle, plumb dead LBW, and just that whole moment of the what's going to happen, will they, won't they situation that you see in rom-coms, in movies all the time. That's what I felt like. Will they, won't they? And I really, really wanted Afghanistan to go through only because Bangladesh had nothing to lose. And they never have anything to lose. The way that Bangladesh play cricket, I tweeted this from Backward Point. I was like, it should be studied because they've been stagnated for so long that it is a shame to follow Bangladesh cricket as far as they have. Shakib Ul Hasan, when was the last time this man was clutch for Bangladesh?
I don't remember.
We got a stat on Twitter. Somebody said that, he hit 600 runs in the 2019 World Cup. Where did Bangladesh end up? They were out of the group stages. So his 600 runs have never really impacted Bangladesh in a positive way. I've never seen this guy perform in any matches for Bangladesh when it counts. Not the bilaterals, not the home turf bullies. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about when it matters. This today again, first ball, golden duck, Naveen Haq gets him out cotton bowled. That's your guy? That's your guy? Come on.
I think Bangladesh has an issue with just hyping up individual players. Like I know Mushrafeh has a humongous fan following in Bangladesh, and perhaps Shakib has now overtaken that. Tamim is a pretty big player there. Mushfiqur back in the day was one of their key guys. So they've had individual players come up the ranks, but as a team, they haven't really clicked. It seems like they have better emerging players coming in. I was really happy to see the new leg spinner, Rishad, coming in.
Bowled
we were talking about this.
So good.
I can't remember the last leg spinner that played for
Wrist
Bangladesh.
spinner, yeah. That's very true. I couldn't remember when.
I keep thinking of left arm spinners like Abdul Razak or Taijul Islam, Shakib himself.
Right. Yeah, we went through those lists and we couldn't remember a valid or a good leg spinner, wrist spinner for Bangladesh in a very, very long time, at least not in recent memory. So it's good to see him. Rishad Hussain is actually one of the shining lights in the Bangladesh team. It was Litin Das, Rishad Hussain, who gave me a little more hope for this Bangladeshi team in the future. Just the way that Rishad Hussain was bowling, I think he also took a 4-for or a 3-for, and he was bowling to his field. He was giving them the loopy full tosses. Sorry, the loopy balls that were drifting in and breaking away. And he really had the Afghanistan players in a chokehold. And that was good to see. Litin Das, more praises to him. Lone man standing at the end of the day, 54 runs off 49 balls, 5 fours and a 6. Held it together on one end. This is what I expected Shakib to do for Bangladesh, but he just completes the no-show event that Shakib has his entire career. This might be the last time he plays T20Is for Bangladesh or in a World Cup for Bangladesh, hopefully. But, I'm just happy that Bangladesh players are sort of moving in a new direction and they're saying goodbye to the old guard, which is Shakib Al Hasan, who is also 37 years old and 93 days.
Imagine Pat Cummins, Mitchell Stark, David Warner, Josh Hazelwood, glued to their screens and praying that Litan Das and Taskeen Ahmed finish the match so that Australia can qualify. Like, what a time to be alive. The fact that Australia has to pray for Bangladesh to win so they can go towards the semis.
I mean, they made Mitchell Marsh say, "Come on, Bangladesh!" at the press. I don't know what else to say. Cricket will make you do really, really interesting things and really fun things. It was just a delight to watch this Afghanistan Bangladesh game. And you know what? We mentioned this before. This clip was probably already out, but the look on great cricketer's face tomorrow. Oof. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. I mean, kudos to the boys. They actually take ownership. They're like, I know the whole world wants to see us cry. I know the whole world wants to see us in despair and in pain because we've, as Australian cricket fans and Australian cricketers, have provided so much pain to the rest of the world. Bangladesh, Pakistan, India, New Zealand, everybody's against these guys. And Afghanistan, like most recently in 2023. So it's kudos to them for having a self-awareness to be like, hey, okay, fine. You guys are gonna throw shit our way. We have to take it. We've thrown so much shit back that I love that spirit of them, but just I can't wait, man. I can't wait. I'm gonna put their podcast on loop, all three of them. The one where they lost against Afghanistan, and then the India one, which I'm like halfway through, and then the sweet, sweet revenge of this podcast is about to drop. It's gonna be great.
Afghanistan has had so much heartbreak in their recent years where they've come so close to beating some huge teams. Pakistan in 2019 ODI World Cup, and then Pakistan in the 2021 T20 World Cup, Pakistan in the Asia Cup, Pakistan in the ODI series, and then finally they were able to cross the line against Pakistan in the ODI World Cup.
Where it mattered the most.
Where it mattered, but they had a heartbreak against Australia. So I was rooting for these guys to win it, and it's just a perfect underdog story. I can't wait to see what this means to the players and how this translates to their future performances. Because Afghanistan now, they're a force to be reckoned with. And if they can control their nerve and finish more matches more often, we'll see another formidable team come up in world cricket.
100%. And this is good for cricket. You know, it was the same 9-10 teams ruling the cricketing nations for the past 30, 35 years. And you see these newer teams come in like Afghanistan, like USA, like Netherlands, Scotland. These teams really gave these cricketing test playing nations a run for their money. And this is why I love the T20 format. There's a lot of qualms that I have with this format, and they may never be resolved just because of the nature of the beast. But what's beautiful about this is because of the length of the game, it puts everybody on an even playing field. Almost on an even playing field. If you have the right pieces, if you have a good opening start, you have a good middle order, you have a good a bowling attack that can contain 5 good bowlers, you're basically you can beat anybody on your day. And this is the beauty of this game where Afghanistan beat Australia and had them at the mercy of a Bangladesh win. I've seen everything now.
We've seen everything. We've seen it all. It really is. It's an iconic day. It's a historic day, and I am elated at this time of the night. And I think maybe this is a transition to the India versus Australia match. If you have anything more to add for today's match.
Sorry, say that again. I was just lost at the.
I was thinking that this is a good transition to the India versus Australia match.
Let's go. The India versus Australia match. Oh, that was also a delight. Another, like, cricket will make you do funny things. I was rooting for India. Again, India Pakistan games are extremely heated, and the discourse around it on social media, online, in legacy media, it can be very, very toxic. But at the end of the day, I have a lot of respect for the Indian team. I have a lot of respect for the Indian players. We, in the previous podcast, mentioned how the old guard of the Indian cricket is passing the torch on. Rohit is 37, with Kohli's 36. This might be the last T20 World Cup they play for India. So I'm glad that they're making headway into this tournament. I wanted them to beat Australia just for the revenge of the final that they had. I think, I'm a Virat Kohli fanboy. I think he's one of the greatest cricketers of all time, one of the greatest players of all time. He's single-handedly changed the conversation around cricket. He's changed how cricket is played. And it's a wonderful sight. I know he's not performing well in this tournament. I think second duck in this tournament.
Last 4 innings.
The last 4 innings. It's tough. It's tough to be a Virat Kohli fan out there, and I see a lot of my boys out there struggling on social media trying to protect him. It's fine. Let him cook.
Bro,
Let him do it.
even the ICC is having a lot of issues because Virat is not scoring runs. They have lesser content to put out on the socials.
Yeah, but they still have reasonable amount of content because I feel like that's where Rohit Sharma came in and was like, hey, you guys thought, I feel like you listened to the Backward Point podcast. It was like, calling me old, buddy? Here's 92 off 39. And I was like, I'm quiet now. I'm not going to say anything about your age.
You mentioned Virat changing Indian cricket. He has, but I think Rohit Sharma post the 2022 T20 World Cup has changed his game drastically. Like he's always been an attacking batsman, striker of 140 plus, like throughout his career as an opener. But what's happened in the recent times, like this is the Rohit Sharma that I love to see. He's really honing in on his six hitting ability, on having a fearless mindset, because he's the captain. If he is trying to feed in or have the Indian guys buy in to a fearless mindset, to not thinking about the results but focusing on the process, he has to be the one up top setting the example. And that's exactly what he did today. That one over against Mitchell Starc. 4 sixes, 1 4, and a wide. 29 runs off that over. The most expensive over that Starc has delivered and T20Is.
I mean, play it on repeat for me, honestly. Some of those shots were just eye-opening. There was this one shot, it was not in that over, but he's hit a shot against Marcus Stoinis. A check shot over cover for 6.
Elegance. A class.
A check shot. Rohit Sharma, what are you doing? Like, if he starts playing cricket like this at this stage of his life, the expectations are just gone. They're out of the window. The standards of Indian cricket are so high that world cricket will take a long time to catch up to what Rohit Sharma did against Australia. It was a statement innings. It was a statement shot. And after that, Australia were just playing catch up for the rest of the 25 overs.
We're club cricketers. And every time I see Rohit Sharma bat, he makes batting look so easy. I try to replicate him, but I can't. Because his timing, the way he picks up length, he's probably the best hooker of cricket ball in the world right now.
It's called Rohit Sharma hooker?
Yes.
You could have said the puller of the ball.
He's a great hooker.
Second language, guys.
So the one thing that stood out to me in Rohit's innings today is that he continued to put the pedal on the metal despite being way ahead in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was 92 of 41 balls and there were lots of deliveries left. If he wanted, he could have slowed down, made his 100,
50.
Put the bat up, get the helmet out, get that roar in, but he kept going. He didn't care if he was in the 90s. And that's the statement that shows that he's playing for the team. Like in this format, individual milestones have no meaning.
But Sourav Ganguly talked about Inzamam-ul-Haq, and he said, it just seems like when he's batting, he has all the time in the world. He will play the fastest bowlers in the world, and he just will leg glance them for 4 whenever he wants, at will. And I feel very similar about Rohit Sharma. Starc was bowling at 145 clicks at Rohit Sharma, and Rohit Sharma was just playing it like it was 110. He was playing it like you were bowling at him.
Wow.
And it was just one of those things that I know there is a generation of cricketers that are coming to the end of their cricketing life. And, that's a whole other emotional thing, maybe because of Afghanistan when I'm feeling this a little bit more. But cherish this moment, guys. Whether you're Indian fans, whether you're Pakistani fans, whether you're just fans of cricket or not, just casuals, cherish this moment because we're seeing a lot of these legends sort of come to the end of their cricketing life. And they're still out there delivering performances like this. And it's commendable. It's entertaining. It's just good for cricket, man. This is good for cricket. And I can say that because my team's knocked out.
Yeah. I think maybe India has to worry about where Virat Kohli is playing.
Change the order now?
Well, the opening thing is clearly not working for him. He's trying to be an over-aggressor. And today, perfect setup by Josh Hazelwood. I was watching him ball by ball. 2 length balls, top of off stump, and then a surprise bouncer. Virat seemed like he was a bit late on the ball. Top edge. Good catch by Tim David mid on. And the issue is that if you put Virat back at 1 down, what do you do to the batting order? And I think if India does want to change the batting order for the semis, they can bring up Rishabh Pant to open. just swap Rishabh and Virat there, have a lefty-righty combination, and then just put Virat where he's a bit more comfortable. I know he's like playing out of his skin for the greater cause of the team, but he's struggling.
Don't fix something that ain't broke.
Yeah.
That's my opinion on that. I don't think you move Virat Kohli at all. He scored a duck today, and India still made it to 205.
Well,
So,
that just
I don't-
shows the batting depth that India has.
So
They're
then
not
why-
over relying on Virat.
Exactly. Then don't mess with it. That's my opinion. Because Virat Kohli is not the backbone of this Indian batting anymore, which is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. Take this as a positive. If 11 or 8 out of the batsmen out of 11 players are not relying on this one guy to score a 30-ball 50, that just opens everybody up. Look at the score today. So Rohit Sharma's freaked 92 off 41, right? Brilliant. 867 fours. They're 224 strike rate for my guy there. Beautiful to watch. Virat goes on a duck. That's okay as well. Rishabh Pant has 15 off 14. Doesn't really have the start that he wants, but that's still valuable runs. Surya Kumar Yadav, 31 off 16. Shivam Dubey, 28 off 22. And Hardik Pandya, 27 off 17.
Hardik was dropped by Mitchell Marsh at point early on in his innings.
That's fine. These are the strike rates, right? 193 for Surya, 127 for Shivam, 158 for Hardik Pandya, and 180 for Ravindra Jadeja, who had 1-6 and he had 9 runs at 4 balls. Like, I don't think you need to change anything. If Virat failing still gives you 205 on the board, I'll take it. But if you change stuff around and you get 180, 190, then what's the takeoff?
There's a couple of things I've noticed about Rohit's captaincy that's changed in the past year and a half. If you look back at the first India versus Pakistan match in the Asia Cup, Shaheen Afridi was all over the Indian batsman. He got Rohit out, he got Virat out, and then Pakistan's other pacers come in. India was like 60 for 4. What they changed in the second match against Pakistan was they're like, screw this. We know Shaheen is going to bring the ball back in. Let's attack the guy. Let's hit him out of the attack. Shubman Gill hits him for 4 fours in a row, 4 fours in an over. Rohit attacks him, and Shaheen has no plan B. Today, I noticed India do the same thing when Zampa came on the ball. First ball to Rishabh Pant, 6. And Zampa has been Australia's best bowler this tournament. He's been taking wickets in the middle overs. He's bowling variations. And today, he was only able to bowl 2 dot balls in his 4-over spell, and it went for 41. So if you attack their main bowler, they have no option to fall back on.
He got hit for 3 sixes and a 4 in his 24 balls that he pulled.
So that's just a total change in the mindset of this Indian batting order, and a lot has to go through for Rohit. Credits for that, and for this team to buying into that ideology.
Something that stands out to me from the Australian point of view is that even though India were able to hit a 205 run total on the board, Hazelwood went for 14 in his 4. He had an economy of 3.5, 13 dot balls by Josh Hazelwood. One thing that still baffles me is that they didn't try Glenn Maxwell at all.
Yeah.
Maybe they could have taken an over out of Marcus Stoinis and given it to Maxwell. Maybe he would have gone to 15, but Marcus Stoinis still went for 14 and over. So, maybe you could have changed something else. I thought that was a bit static from Mitchell Marsh. I think just maybe he got really paralyzed by the way that the Indian batters were batting, but he didn't think out of the box, and I think that was a missed opportunity. I don't know if anything would have come out of that. It would have just been nice to see something different, because at this rate, you only use the 5 bowlers and you still went for 205. So, what are you going to do?
Australia was totally in this chase for the first 10 overs, I would say. That partnership between Head and Marsh, Australia was cruising through for the chase. And then that catch from Akshar Patel, we talked about before the World Cup that the wind is going to play a big role in this tournament, because you're playing on islands in the Caribbean. There's stiff breezes blowing across the stadium. And we play in Markham, and we know how important the breeze is going to be. I'm the captain of the team, so whenever he balls, he's a leg spinner. I try to bring you on where if the batsman is hitting you, he's hitting against the wind. So if it goes in the air, there's a likely chance of him being caught than the ball being carried for a 6 with the wind.
Yeah, this happened to me recently as well, where it was a really stiff wind coming in from mid wicket onto the offside, and I went down the ground to hit a spinner. I was going over mid on, I middled it, wind took it back, I got caught on boundary.
That's the difference that the wind can make. And I think that Mitch Marsh catch, probably the wind took it way beyond what Akshar Patel had anticipated.
Yeah. But he just stuck his hand out, man.
Stuck his hand. Great catch.
Beautiful catch. Like, you're not supposed to catch those guys. That's supposed to go through the fingers. and you're like, oh, hard luck, man, tough chance. But that is stuck and changed pivoted the game completely in India's favor, and they never let Australia come back.
Yeah. Also, like Bumrah again,
Oh man,
11 dots. Like he's bowling the most critical overs of these innings. His third or fourth over, that's when like the game was put aside. Like he came in and Australia still had a slim chance. He balled that over, mixes it up, slow balls, Yorker, length ball. He has all the tricks of the trade, and the way he executes his deliveries in crunch pressure moments, I think that's what makes him world class.
100%. Jasprit Bumrah has solidified himself, at least in my books, as one of the greatest bowlers that I've seen in the past 5 years at least. The way that the Indian team and the Indian management treated his rehab, they took the L on some big occasions. They had to, and once he came back, oh man, yeah, 2 knockouts straight up. He played the final in the last World Cup, and again this one as well. They might see themselves through. They have a big task in front of them, which is the English team. In the 2022 World Cup, the English team ran through this Indian team. Not a single wicket was gone, and they chased their target of 180 or 170.
160 odd.
Some big target. They chased it in about 17 overs, and they went through into the finals and played Pakistan in the finals. And so they really have some demons and some ghosts to battle. They took over one demon with the Australians knocked out. It's just the English in their way for a final spot. Let's talk briefly about the semifinals, man. It's the game one is going to be Afghanistan versus South Africa, two teams who have never made the finals ever, and so one of the finalists is going to be a brand new team all over again, and then we have India, who is a one-time champion, England, who's a two-time champion, defending champion of the T20 World Cup, who we're going to battle it out and have basically we have a veteran team and a brand new team, and it's going to be insane.
You mentioned about India battling their demons. Let's look back at the 2014 T20 World Cup. India couldn't win the trophy because Sri Lanka was in the finals. Sri Lanka now is eliminated. 2015 semifinal, it was against Australia. Australia is eliminated. 2016 semifinal was West Indies. West Indies eliminated. 2017 Champions Trophy, it was Pakistan. Pakistan eliminated. 2019 ODI World Cup semifinal, it was New Zealand who beat India. New Zealand is also out of the World Cup. 2021, India couldn't make it past the group stages. Yeah. 2022, it was England who defeated them by 10 wickets. So that's sort of the only hurdle in front of them, which could stop them from winning the semis and go through to the finals. I think if India do make it to the finals, they can have the best chance of winning a trophy, which they haven't won the last 10, 11 years. But England is going to be a tough team to beat. Their opening batsmen, they're as aggressive as Rohit, if not more. So if I'm an Indian, I would be very afraid of that opening attack, of their bowling options, and their experience of playing in the West Indies. They also have quality spinners. Adil Rashid is bowling probably at the best of his powers throughout his whole career, with his variations, with the slider, the googly, the quicker one. He's bowling really well.
So with Afghanistan making it to the top four, it completely kills all of our predictions because we didn't have Afghanistan in the top four. I had Afghanistan in the Super 8s, by the way. If you remember, I told you New Zealand is the one that's going to be knocked out of the group stages. I don't see them making it through, and I put my money on Afghanistan. So I'm happy with that bet.
What was your top four?
I think my top four was Pakistan, West Indies, England, and India. I think that was my top four.
Yeah. No, it wasn't England. Australia, India.
Australia, India. Yeah. So yeah. I'm totally. I don't know what I'm talking about.
So you only had one right.
Yeah, India.
Okay, and I had India, Australia, Pakistan. West Indies and England. West Indies. Yeah. So I'm 2 of 4.
Yeah, 2 of 4. So Afghanistan just really ruining everybody's betting chances, betting odds here. Good for them. I'm really happy about it. I'm glad that there's a new team coming in, and I'm also glad that South Africa made it through. The South Africa Afghanistan game is going to be really tough for me, only because I'm rooting for both of them at this point. I really want both of them to secure the deal, and I want both of them to make sure that they make it to the finals. But that's not the case. That's just what I have to deal with. And if it comes down to it, who are you rooting for? South Africa, Afghanistan? Give me a winner for yourself.
Oh, that's a tough one because I think South Africa. I would still give it to South Africa because I want them to win a trophy as well.
Mine is Afghanistan. I want to see them through into the finals. Between them, it's going to be Afghanistan for me, and between India and South Africa,
India
India
and
and
England.
England. I don't know, man. If India make it through to the final, it's their World Cup.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. So
I
I don't
think
know who's gonna make it.
I feel like England is gonna beat India.
Okay.
Like it's the way they've been playing cricket, the way they're using flexible batting orders, the depth they have in their batting and bowling. I feel like India's gonna have a tough time against England, and I think I would want an England versus South Africa final. I just love the way England plays their white ball cricket. They see some success, they see some failures, but overall, that's the way how you play dominating white ball modern day cricket.
100% right. That's it for us from Backward Point. Congratulations again to all of our Afghanistan cricket fans, all the Afghans out there who must be celebrating the night and deep into the early morning. Congratulations to you guys. Thank you for giving us one of the greatest moments in cricket history by knocking out Australia, knocking out New Zealand, and knocking out Bangladesh as well. Lots of learning curves for Bangladesh. Hopefully they learn and come back as a formidable side in the future as well. And yeah, as a boxing and cricket fan, I have no idea at the stakes, but I want everybody to win. So just we're looking forward to the next two games. We're going to be reviewing it solo pod for the final. Just me and the Backward Point fam out there on the YouTube and the Spotify streaming services. So we can't wait for that to come over. And
Are we gonna stream the first semifinal? It's at 8:30 p.m. on Wednesday. Do you want to do that?
something to talk about. Something to talk about off camera.
We'll let you know.
We'll let you know if it happens, guys. Definitely tune in. Check out all the links in the description below. Follow our Patreon, Discord, whatnot. And we'll see you guys in the next episode.
Cheers.
Cheers.